yeah, this is obviously about moving on from, something negative or rocky waters into smoother waters and all of that. I'm actually seeing feeling exposed. I know that's a bit not really what this card's usually about, but it's as if it was like you were expressing where you wanted to go and what you wanted to do, and that left you feeling a bit exposed. I think you were trying to keep on a certain track. Your emotions might have been in the way a little bit of you getting on the track that you wanted to go or moving forward to where you wanted to go. I think when it comes to the big scheme of things, the big picture, you know exactly what you're doing. You know exactly where you want to go. You know you're getting there as well, I think. You know that deep down inside yourself. You might have doubts, but you know that. I think sometimes it's just your emotions and some of your past hurts as well, things like that. They might be getting in your way sometimes. It's a little bit like these swords are right in front of these people, stuck right in front of their faces. They're going somewhere, they're in their boat, they're going, but the swords, the feelings are sort of stuck right in the way. That wasn't me, that noise. That was a car going past doing some noise. Please don't think that was me. It was... Okay, I'm just going to keep going, I'm sorry. So yeah, some of your emotions are stuck in the way of where you want to go. Not totally, just a little bit. They just kind of make you waver a bit. I think there are also some people questioning you, watching what you're doing. I think sometimes you can wear your heart on your sleeve a bit, and you like to express how you feel, and that's absolutely fine. I do that too. But I think sometimes if you express yourself too much and to the wrong people, sometimes that can leave you feeling a little bit exposed. Because sometimes people think if you say too much to certain people, not everyone, just to certain people, sometimes they think that, oh, now they've told me this, it's open to discussion or criticism and all of that kind of thing. I'm actually seeing one specific incident where you sort of opened yourself up about what you wanted to do, maybe your plans or something, and maybe that was openly criticised. And, I'm just looking at this boat. This is how I'm seeing this. I'm just looking at this boat. Obviously, it's a wooden boat, and these swords are sort of stuck into the boat. It's like the boat's been stabbed by these swords. And, in reality, if you had a wooden boat and you stuck a sword into it many times, 6 times, it'd have 6 holes in it and the boat would sink. So I think the message here is just be a little bit careful of saying too much or talking too much about your feelings, personal things, plans, things that are close to your heart, all of that kind of thing. Not with everyone, just some people. Just choose the right people to talk to. Just be very wary of talking to everyone all the time. Just be careful about that, because you might be sinking your own boat by exposing yourself, and people might come and start criticizing. They might start poking holes in your boat, and then you'll sink. That won't help you. Generally, I'm trying to say. So usually, normally, you're really strong. You're really strong, like this man that's steering this boat. You know where you're going. You know what you're doing. You're not going to let anyone tell you what to do. You would never do that. But again, just be a little bit careful of exposing too much of yourself and what you want to do to the wrong people. Look at this woman. She's totally covered up. So obviously that's another extreme. You don't want to totally cover yourself up and never express yourself to anyone. That's a whole different extreme. But yeah, again, just be mindful of who you're talking to and the effect that might have on your life. Don't sink your boat, basically. So the next card you have your past is the 10 of Pentacles. Yeah, there are 2 boats in this as well, 2 of them, right above the old man's head. And the old man's head is where the wisdom is. The wisdom's in his head. He's the old man. He's a merchant. He's had a whole big career, and he's sitting there looking at his family, and he's thinking, look what I've achieved. Look how wise I am. So the boats are above his head. So I think the message in that is be wise, and don't let your boat sink. So similar thing again. And when I'm looking at these boats, it also makes me think of a few different things. Obviously, boats are about journeys. Okay, I know this might sound a bit strange, but I hope you'll understand what I'm talking about. I think what's happening with you right now is you're going from one big phase in your life. You're kind of traveling from one phase to another one. I think this might have been the start of you realizing what was actually happening, or realizing the extent of what was happening. I'm just thinking about something, because the boats are making me think about this. You know, in ancient Egypt, you know, if there was someone important who died, there was a custom of transporting the body on a boat from one side of the river to the other side, and that sort of symbolized, you know, a spiritual journey. And so I think you're definitely on some kind of spiritual journey, because there are these boats all over this, and I've been feeling that for a while actually, and I think now's the time you're starting to notice all of this. It's already started. I think you started on this journey a long time ago, and I think you also might have been noticing that maybe you're having problems communicating with some of the people from your past, people who you knew before you started on this journey. And yeah, you started on this a while ago, I think, but maybe the signs haven't been quite as obvious to you as they are now. I think that's what's happening. Yeah, sometimes when you speak to these people, it almost feels as if you're kind of speaking a completely different language to some of them. You used to speak their language, and there was no barrier there before, but there's one now. You know, it's not bad, it's just different. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them or there's anything wrong with you. It just means that now you're at a different phase spiritually to where you used to be. And, you know, it's not good or bad. We're all at different phases. We're all at different stages on this spiritual journey. Some people learn a lot faster than others. Some people don't learn. They have to come back and learn the same lessons again. You're quite far ahead on your journey in this life. And at this time, that's what you're realizing. And you're noticing that because you can see the difference between you and a lot of people from your past. You used to be quite aligned to those people. Now you're not as aligned to them. That doesn't mean you don't talk to them. You still talk to them. You still like them, whatever. It's fine. Everything's fine. But you do notice this difference. That's what I'm seeing. And yeah, what I'm seeing here is this shift. It's an internal shift. It's going along. It's been going along quite slowly for a while. And then I think eventually things are going to speed up really quickly for you. And I think this really, really fast ascension is going to start to happen really quickly, probably at the end of the season, or maybe at the beginning of next season. And I think the catalyst to this happening, this will be when you start to see all these big changes that have been happening to you, all sort of coming together in some kind of really big, obvious way. It's going to be very obvious, and you'll know what I mean. You might not understand this right now, but at the time when it does happen, you'll know. You'll say, oh, that's what that is. I know what that is. You know, you've changed already. You've changed in a lot of different areas of your life. A lot of different areas. Even your appearance, a lot of things have changed. I don't know if this will make sense to you, but it's all going to come together. You'll come to a place at this time when this big ascension starts and it suddenly shifts up into the sky, and you're just going to think, oh, now I know. Now I know why I'm here. This is what I've been led to do. This thing here right now. It's going to all come to this big kind of explosion. You'll be like, now I understand everything. And I think you know that you know by feeling and by instinct which is the right road to go on and which isn't. You're very, very instinctually led. And I think that when you started becoming instinctually led, that was the start of this journey. If you look back in your life and you think, when did I first use my instincts and use them to follow this path? And then, you know, found out it was actually a good path. That was when this happened. And so it's going to come to this great big huge kind of crescendo, probably at the end of this season or the start of next one, probably around that time. You know, I think if you'd come to this place a few years ago, not a physical place, it's an emotional, spiritual, mental place. If you had have come to this place a few years ago, you definitely wouldn't have been ready. You would not have been ready at all. You would have been lost. But when the time comes, that's when you'll be ready, and you're still preparing for that right now, whether you realise it or not. But at the time, when it happens, it's going to feel like a great, big, huge quantum leap, if that makes sense. Yeah, there was a lot in that, a lot in those two cards, a huge amount. So the last card you have your past is Strength. Okay, I'm seeing someone who you were around, that you're not around now. I'm seeing you helping them. I'm actually seeing you not actually helping them, but you were willing to help them. You were willing to pick them up out of a place that wasn't good for them. That's what I'm seeing. I don't know if this is going to make any sense, but I'll just tell you what I'm seeing. I think there was a situation that you were in and they were in. You were able to get yourself out of this certain situation. It wasn't a good one. And I think you got out of it, and you're willing to get somebody else out of this as well. And I think this person might have disappointed you for some reason, and maybe then you decided that you just didn't want to help them to get out of that. It was like, well, if they're going to treat me like that, or if they're going to act like that, or say that, or do whatever it was, obviously they don't want my help. They're happy to be where they are, so I'll leave them there. So that's kind of the sort of thing I'm seeing. I'm actually feeling a really strange dynamic around this, because I think it might not have been your help that they wanted. I think it was actually you that they wanted. I think they had deeper feelings for you than you realised. Maybe you know this now. Maybe looking back on this, you know this now, because I think now you have a lot more insight now, because you're on this process way better than you had at that time. So you might know that now. You can probably see that now, and you couldn't at the time. You know, it wasn't your help they wanted. They wanted more than that. And yeah, it's a bit strange. I'm seeing a test. I don't know if this is going to make any sense to you or not. I'm seeing some kind of test. I think they set up some kind of test for you. And what happened was the tables turned on them and they ended up failing the test. That's okay. I hope that makes sense. I'm confused anyway. I hope it makes sense to you. So the first card you have your present is the Eight of Swords. Yeah, here we are. This is this person in the Strength card. What I'm seeing now is, this is why they're coming up, because I'm thinking, why is this person coming up? They're coming up because they'd still like to talk to you. They want to talk to you. I think, I don't think they can. I don't know if you block them or what. I don't think you've been in touch with them for a long time. If you know who this is, if you've had some kind of falling out with someone, you can this kind of speaks to you. You understand who this might be. If you suspect whoever this is might have had some feelings for you at one time, which is what I'm seeing here, this person wants to talk to you. I think they actually have a lot of very happy memories of you before this, of you together, maybe before this incident happened. And what they'd like is they'd love to be able to go right back to the way things were. Because if you look at this card, there's a castle up on a hill and it's behind this woman, and that's where she's come from. So if she used to live in a castle, obviously she had a really nice lifestyle. She lived in a beautiful castle. She had a lovely time. She remembers all the good times and all of that before she left the castle. Now she's left the castle and she's stuck and she can't go back. She wants to go back. She wants to move forward as well, and maybe wants to connect with whatever it is, whoever she was moving toward, which I think, you know, she was, or he or she or whoever this is, was trying to move towards you, and they were blocked, stuck. They can't go back to the old times. They can't go forward to any new times that are in their mind. So they're just kind of stuck there. That's what I'm seeing with this poor person here. So, yeah, of course, you know, it's all up to you as to whether you want to forgive someone. I don't know what happened. It might have been a tiny thing. It might have been a huge thing. I don't know. It's completely up to you to work out whether, you know, what you want to do. But if you know who this is, just know they are remorseful and they are thinking about talking to you, and they'd like to talk to you. That's what I'm seeing. I think they are genuinely remorseful. They really are. Okay, so the next card you have for your present is the Lovers. Yeah, this is a really interesting card. It's a really complex card. Yeah, I think this person in the Strength card might have had some kind of chance with you at one time. Don't be angry. You're probably going to say, no, they didn't. I can't stand this person. They were horrible to me. I don't want to talk to them ever again. I don't like them. Yes, that's how you feel now. But I think at one time, I don't think you ever saw them as a really serious prospect. I don't think you ever sat down with yourself and said, I'm really have feelings. I have feelings for this person. I really think they'd be perfect for me. I'd really like to get to you. I don't think you ever did that. But I think maybe you kind of thought at one time, it might have just gone through your head briefly. What do I think about this person? Do you think there's some hope? Maybe there is. Maybe. And then you might have thought for a second, no, I don't think so. That's the kind of thing I'm getting around that. You didn't see them as anything serious. It went into your head for a minute. You thought about it. You did consider it. But then, you know, you decided, no, I don't think this is what I want. But they were definitely very serious about this. They really had feelings for you. That's probably why I'm seeing all these regrets here, and they want to talk to you and all of that kind of thing. The other thing I'm seeing in this card is, this is really interesting. There's some kind of feeling of being left out, being outside of something, some kind of unfairness. Okay, so I'll explain this whole thing. This is obviously the Garden of Eden, where Eve. I'm saying Eden, I'm saying Eve. Where Eve, that's a nice name for a girl actually, Eve. Sorry. So, okay, so this is the Garden of Eden. Eve was tempted by the snake. So obviously this is the biblical story. And then she was supposed to have, and the snake said, please have this apple. And so she did, and then she handed it to Adam, and then he was tempted as well because of her. That's the biblical story, and that's supposed to be why we all became sinners. So that's that. Okay, so I hope I don't get into trouble here, but in a lot of churches, not all of them, and I'm not having a go at religion, I'm really not, but in a lot of churches, women aren't able to preach. Sometimes they're not even able to speak at all in church, in some very strict churches. A lot of that comes from this, because women were supposed to have sinned and then they tempted Adam. So a lot of that idea comes from that. Of course, there are a lot of other verses about women and all of this kind of thing all throughout. I'm not going to get into that. That's not for me to do. I'm just talking about what's on this card and the way I'm seeing this card. So because of that, and because of what was happening in this story, women now are supposed to have been, in some churches, not all, not able to speak for that reason. To me, that speaks of some kind of discrimination. So what I'm seeing is you might have felt some kind of exclusion. It might have been through some kind of discrimination. It could be anything. It might be because you're a woman, just like on this story. It might be because you're disabled. It might be because of your sexual orientation. It might be because of race. It might be because of anything at all. It might be because of your religious ideas or anything. I think you felt something like this in your life. I think you've been excluded at some time in your life because of this. It goes right back, it's right back in your past, because this is an ancient story. So I'm seeing ancient history goes right back. It has affected you. It's probably affected you subconsciously in your life in a lot of ways. because you have felt as if there was a barrier between some things that you wanted to do, some places you wanted to go, because of this, whatever happened back in your history.